So with that, for those of you joining us virtually, thank you so much for being here. I am excited to share, this is my second 5 minutes of fame in the CTO faculty director role. And I know it's got a long history. It's one of the preferred / looked after showcases because we're so busy throughout the year. So many of us, right, are all contributing to teaching, learning students, helping students get through the semester, helping community members learn more about what we do. And so this is really just kind of our opportunity to kind of do a very quick maybe study, a very quick celebration of how it is and who we are and all the ways that we are contributing with our students. And so thank you all so much for being here, everyone here who is in person, and of course, everyone who's here virtually. So for those of you that have maybe never been a part of this, I was going to say, for those of you that may have never been a part of this, let me see if I can get the gong. There is a gong right here. And we get it back to the online people. There is a gong. And the real purpose is, I will share as a public speaking instructor, gongs are probably not the best way to get people to know that their time is up. And so as a result, Lorianne is going to help out. She will be our timekeeper and let everyone know when they've got 2 minutes and 1 minute. And of course, if you do go past your time, you will be ceremonially gonged, no with love. Right? So the idea is we want to get through as many people as possible, and we know that we don't have all afternoon to be able to celebrate all that we will hear and learn from all of us today. We also have some of our presenters joining us virtually, and so that is also something that we're going to be kind of going back and forth as needed. And so with that, I think we're ready to get started. Yeah, fear the gong is what Eric says. I would say, when you hear the gong, feel it with love. So with that, we're going to go and get started. We do have, for those of you that are here in person, we do have all the presenters here. We didn't put it on the slides because it's quite a long list, but know that this is the list of presenters. And then for those of you online, I will put the virtual link in the chat in just a second. I will be your virtual moderator, so if you all need anything that is connected virtually, please feel free to let us know. And then at the end, Jake, who designed all of our 5 minutes of fame certificates as a way to, he will actually be ceremoniously giving that to you all because I feel like it's a way to also celebrate all of the amazing things that Jake does for us as well. So with that, welcome, and I think we're ready to get started. So we've got our first presenter, which is Maya and Talia.
Oh, okay. I think we're good. Yes. Okay. So one of the things that we realized in our Career and Transfer Center is that when students came in for appointments for resume, cover letters, and mock interviews, a lot of our students said that they didn't have experience. And we know that that's not true. Everybody has experience. And so as our career navigators were asking them questions and prompting them about their classroom experience, we realized that they were not thinking of their classroom experience or their school experience as one of a relevant type of work experience. And so their focus on what is experience is very limited to, you know, I have to get paid for this work in order for it to be on my resume. At the same time, for some of the specific programs coming in, our career navigators, we do not have a Bible of all the things that are happening in careers in the world to know the specific industry language to be able to help trigger some of those memory recollections from our students. And so we really struggle to figure out what is the solution instead of asking general prompts like, hey, what are you doing in your classroom? Because we know what they're gonna say. Next slide. Okay, so our solution, so we were able to collaborate with Jim Servin, Program Director for Administration of Justice Studies, and we came up with a resume one sheet. Now, I will say I will not take credit 1,000% for this because one of our colleagues at WestMec, Yvette Rodriguez, shared a similar kind of document that they were using for their semiconductor programs that helped formulate the student. This is how you would describe this, degree experience on your resume. This is how you would describe some of the things that you're doing in the classroom. And so we thought this would be really helpful for us to do for some of those programs that our students are coming to. And so in collaboration with Jim actually came to our office, gave us a very thorough rundown of like, hey, here are all the opportunities I present to our students. So they come, they visit classroom trips, they do presentations, and then here are also my syllabus or program outcomes. And so he actually shared those with us. And what we did was we tied those program outcomes into resume bullet points. So we did the hard point of how do we turn that into resume language. And then on the back, what we did was we connected this to our NACE career readiness competencies so that if students were interviewing and, someone wanted to have them give an example of how they did teamwork, then students will kind of know and already have some of that language mirrored based off of their program outcomes and what's happening in the classes to be able to better communicate that experience. And so we put this document together. We have since worked on a document for our nursing students as well and did a presentation on them. And then we are in talks with our STEM center to do that as well. Next slide. So not only were we able to better communicate and have understanding what's happening in the classroom to better assist our students, but our students were able to walk away with a very practical, customized document that we know that was very accurate because we were working with our faculty members. And in turn, it helped them communicate that a little bit better. So if you're interested in doing that in the future, we would love to collaborate with you. And I think that's the end of our slide.
Maya, that's awesome. You did not get gonged.
I didn't get gonged. Woo-woo.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Next we've got Dr. Rachel Smith, who hi Rachel. Get ready to get the gong for the first time. Everyone's gone. Raise the mic. Yeah. Okay. Yep. All right. Okay. This is a presentation about the PLO assessment in the life sciences department. So program level outcomes. We don't have any programs. We're division in those programs. So what the hell are we going to assess? So this is our general framework. We identified pathways and we called those our programs. We wrote program learning outcomes for each pathway. That's a whole process. We're not going to go into in 5 minutes. We created a universal survey tool, which is basically a quiz or a survey and we did that for all pathways. It's universal, so it's not really content specific. It's more skills. And we did the OG LSA within Canvas. And it was okay, but we came up with some strengths and weaknesses there. And so our new LSA version 2.0 is a Google survey, Google Forms, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today. We implement our survey in all our classes, which is a lot. We're one of the biggest divisions. And then I did some analysis. And then we also closed the loop, like you're supposed to do for assessment, which is taking the results and using them to inform your practice. So here are our programs. We have 3 programs. Our courses that support STEM majors, our courses that support allied health majors, and then our non-majors classes, which support the non-majors. And what we do is these classes take our life sciences assessment in week 1 or 2 of the semester. Those are the beginning classes. These take our life sciences assessment at the end of the semester. So you have a survey of students coming in at the beginning of the pathway, and you have a survey of the students going out at the end of the pathway. It could be separated by 2 semesters, 4 semesters, and we're not pairing our data, but we compare the results of those coming in with those coming out of the same pathway. And then for the non-majors, they take the survey at the beginning of the semester in fall and the end of the semester in spring. So we compare these results with those results. So we can see if students coming into a non-majors class compared to students coming out of a non-majors class do better. So we had our OG LSA in Canvas. We did this for 3 years. There's results from that, which are in CATS. There's pluses and minuses. One of the major minuses is that one of the major pluses is you can send it out to all your instructors through Canvas Commons. They can put it in their class. Everyone has the same assessment. The weakness is that if you want to update it and people are just rolling their class, you can't get the new assessment out to everybody. Plus, they download their results into into an Excel spreadsheet, and then they send it to you, and you have an Excel spreadsheet for every section, which for us is like 100 sections, and it's a mess to pull that together. So with the Google survey, you can just do one link and everyone goes into the same survey. And then you have to do a bunch of spreadsheet stuff to like sort by class, but it's much easier to sort than it is to combine spreadsheets. So this year we have an N of 732. That's a big N for assessment. That's a lot, and that's not including the non-majors that haven't done the survey yet at the end of this semester. And we are analyzing the results to see how students are improving and when they're not improving for each pathway, and we can also compare between the pathways. So here's some example data. So here's a question from the survey. There's 20 questions in the survey. This one is an evolution type one. And basically students have to align that data in the table to how the graph would look. So it's really data, like, do you understand how graphs depict tabulated data? We can see in the allied health pathway, they do 5% better at the end of the pathway than when they came in. And the STEM, they do 18%, almost 20% better in this question than when they started. So this is kind of what you might expect for this kind of a question. Here's another question, which is more of an allied health related question. I'm chasing this around the screen. This is one about lactate in exercise, and you might expect the allied health students might be more interested and more attuned to that, and they did 6% better at the end of their pathway than at the beginning, compared to STEM students, which went up 2.2%. I can't leave this on. Move it on. There's one more slide. I'm going to get done because I can't work the thing. So here's one where everyone did worse. So obviously we have to look at this and see what aren't we teaching here? Why is everybody doing worse on this question at the end when they started? So that's an example. And thank you to mainly Jeff Miller, who really wrote that assessment and put it in Google and all that stuff. And then all the full-time faculty in my division do really put this together after that. I'm going to look at this.
It's like you have 9 seconds.
All right, that's the first. Oh, it's getting on.
I got $50 Got $100 on your mouth.
Can you all see and hear me? Because I think I just lost the sound.
We can see and hear you. We just didn't say anything, Dr. Van.
Oh, okay. Wow, you were perfectly silent.
Oh, there we go.
Was that one?
The projectors just took a moment.
That.
We're great now. Okay. Had a break. The moment.
Okay. Are we starting our time now?
You can start now. Go first.
Okay. So hi, everyone. I can't see you seeing me, but let's work with this. So Ashley and I are going to present today about a project that was really precious to us and close to our hearts. We prepared for it all of fall. We offered it this spring in February, and so you don't need to read. This was the promo material. The CTL did a beautiful job on the promo material, but it was a really powerful exploration of our intersectional selves, which probably seems very precious at this moment. And Ashley, what would you add to the introduction?
I think it was great that we had it as a hybrid option. So we had a lot of folks join us online. We also had in person and students also. So it was really great to see students. So I thought it was just nice to have another opportunity for everyone to come together and, do this together, and regardless of the modality that we were in, so, and have our students with us too.
And can you forward the slide? Great. Yeah, so like Ashley mentioned, there were the project was that people were invited to come and make boxes. That Makerspace had gotten us boxes and allowed us to personalize our boxes through engraving or stickers that they made. People could send their requests to the Makerspace, and Stephen would make it happen. So we were all together crafting boxes that represented our intersectional identities, but also having really powerful discussions as we crafted. So what was so powerful to me, now I've been here, 20 years, is that it felt in many ways like an older version of Estrella, in that we had faculty, we had staff, we had students, which was unexpected but delightful. We had people from multiple campuses. We had, it was just such a powerful collaboration where we all worked together to make this happen and to make it wonderful. And there was just a lot of power in that collaboration. So you'll see on the left of this slide, the main groups that started it, and then on our campus, it was Empower, the CTL, the Community Building and Social Activity Group, the Makerspace, and the Black History Month Committee. And then this grew out of a project that was across district that started as a collaboration between Ability Maricopa and Equality Maricopa, and grew out of something that Karen Sada was doing at MCLI. And Karen Sada was one of our long-term adjunct faculty in psych. Another characteristic that was so special about this project is that it was tremendously inclusive, like Ashley said. And the hybrid format really worked well. It was uncertain. It was sort of a test case because we want to be able to see if we can do everything that we want to do in a hybrid format, and it worked beautifully. This is just a little bit of feedback that we received from a survey that we gave out at the end that speaks to how powerful it was in so many ways. So the idea of sharing creativity was mentioned by a lot of people, and it reminded me of this idea of like women's sewing circles or some old-fashioned getting together to make something, and how it just engenders a kind of conversational freedom that allowed us to really go deep in a very short period of time, often with people that we didn't know. So you can take a look at some of the feedback, but we were really pleased. The feedback was excellent for the project.
I think we have less than a minute, Christina, so I'm just going to briefly go over these.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. So the pictures are just some of them ones we took while at the event in person, but also with the folks online in the background. And so all of the supplies were provided by, kind of passed them along from campus to campus through this collaboration. So it was really great to be able to do that, to run and meet someone to get the supplies and pass them off to another campus afterwards. And so here are just some of the boxes that were also made. Anything to share last few seconds?
Sorry, I took up so much time, Ashley. I'm a gong magnet.
There we go. All right.
We teach alt. I'm Stacy Sana. We teach alt 100, which is the class that students who place low in reading and in writing have to take this class before they can move on to English 101 and their reading requirements as well. One of the things, we've been teaching this class since, how do we move the slide? There we go. We've been teaching this class since 2020. It's a brand new class. Part of the class, in addition to providing integrated reading and writing instruction for academic purposes, is also in our course competencies to also teach how to college, because these students are very, very novice students, what we call them. Ours is the very first class that they take when they're entering college. So we have to teach them how to be good students, and we embed some of that into our classes. And at the end of the class, we ask for students to give what advice would you give to future students. And we have the students in the next class read that advice and use that to help them set some goals that are going to help them to be successful on the very first day. So we do an activity that first day, have them read through the information we've collected, the advice they've collected from past students, and then they come up with some goals. But we found that we weren't doing a good enough job of following up towards the end of the semester to see how well they had stuck to those goals. So we did a little bit of a change, and we do a quarterly grade check. Every 4 weeks, we have them check their grade. They can print their grade and tell us, you know, how they feel about it and what they're going to do to maintain it or improve upon it. For the last grade check, we decided to add a piece to it, to have them revisit the goals that they set during week 1 based on the advice that they got from other students. And you can read the prompt there for yourself. And we got some rather interesting feedback from
So
them.
these are examples of what they wrote. And one of the things we noticed is that most of the behaviors that they attributed to their success in the class also was one of the most challenging, and it was all tied to time management, right? So we see here, for example, things that worked well for them were doing my assignments early, setting time for coursework, as you can see, pacing, watching our pacing. Another student, again, staying focused, prioritizing my time. A student here found that they will not be taking 5 classes again. That was just way too much. And again, just using a schedule. See, strategy is using a schedule. So there is all linked to time management. So something that we plan to do in the future is have more direct conversation about these goals that they create in week 1. With our students about how to manage work-life balance, differences between high school and college expectations, because we have many of our students who show up, but perhaps are not submitting their assignments. They're not sure how that's going to be, affecting their grade. So we plan to do this by having more informal conversations with them weekly through either an exit ticket or a question of the day that is tied to the goals that they identify in week 1. And that's pretty much it. So, thank you.
Speed record, I was all about negative reinforcement. We'll leave the trophy for next.
All right.
I got a raise.
All right.
Ready?
Confused.
Slide. All right, so, and now for something completely different. I'm going to tell you about Mixed Fit. We have our own Mixed Fit class here at Estrella, thanks to community education. Big shout out to community education. So what is Mixed Fit and how is it different? This is a people-inspired fitness program that combines explosive dance movements with body weight toning. What does that mean? It means we take our cues from the people, from our clients that we're working with. We play all genres of music. We're not just limited to any particular genre. We use movements that are repetitive and easy to follow throughout the entire class. So if you don't get it the first time around, you do get it, and it becomes kind of imprinted in your brain after that. We incorporate a lot of body weight exercises, so we'll kind of combine some of those dance things with jacks, with squats, with lunges, with standing crunches, things like that. And everything that we do is big and exaggerated. That's why we say explosive. It's big and exaggerated because that intensifies the workout. And it really is a full body workout. Even though you don't feel like you're doing that, but it is. I was really hopeful to bring this to Estrella because the mission of MixFit, and I'm not going to read it, you can read it for yourself, really aligns very much with Estrella's mission and vision. And you can kind of see that for yourselves. I have been informed that this is the first class of its kind. And MixFit has been around since 2013, but this is the first time that MixFit has been offered at a college, especially as a community ed class. If you wanted to take a MixFit class, you would have to join a gym. You would have to join a YMCA. You would have to find a dance studio and get a membership to that in order to take MixFit. Here, offering it here makes it accessible to a wider group, a wider community. And that is what's making it stand out in the MixFit community. I found out, but we're very special. So I'm very grateful that we're able to do this here. This is the first semester that we did it. We started in January. These are some of the things that our crew here, our Mountain Lion MixFit crew, had to say about it. It's become a wonderful little community. We just have a good time. It's a nice place to just, for an hour, you just forget about the rest of your day and you focus on moving around and getting sweaty and just laughing, which is mostly what we do. Right, some of you are here today and I'm gonna put you on the spot. So what's in the future? We're gonna continue to offer it. I just found out we're gonna offer it this summer. So if you want to sign up, it will go, I think Katie said it's gonna go live end of next week. We're gonna have a morning class and an afternoon class starting on June 3rd. Also possible collaboration with GCC. One of my fellow instructors is faculty at GCC, and we've been talking about maybe doing some sort of a master class at some point in the future for the open community. So with that, I want to kind of give you a little bit of a taste. So don't feel pressured that you have to, but I'm going to have you get a little taste of it. So if you want to participate, please stand up. We're going to do a basic pump. You're gonna put your fist up to your shoulder, your other fist down at towards your waist, and you're gonna kind of pulse a little bit like that. You're gonna do single, single, double, single, single, double. There's a booty pop. You're gonna move your booty to the left. You're gonna come to the front. Single, single, double, single, single, double. All right. Go all along. How much time do I have? Minute 30. There we go. Perfect. All right. Here we go.
Every night we have faith. I go for the passport, get wasted. You can be shit, going crazy. Rockstar lifestyle might not make it. At a party, it's no vacation. In a party, it's a real vibration. Since they say I'm a sensation, you don't like me, ain't a station. Big drink coming back. Skinny girls in the back. Ain't that bad, like a big man. Jump on the jump like jumping jacks. Every day of the week. I'm a star. I'm in a minute, going hard. Hacking all these girls in the car. I'm gonna need another car. Ain't no like I'm a bad boy, murder. All kids in that hill like Lorna. Said ladies, if he ain't hacking right. Cut that, pay your bills, or you getting up tonight. If you ain't hacking right, that chick she can buy on, you can put the whole flight.
You'll have fun.
Now it's time.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. That was amazing. Can we do one like routine so that every CTL event starts like that? All right, awesome. Thank you. So right now we actually have Dr. Erica Wager, who will be sharing her screen and also telling us a little bit about some work she's been doing in her course.
So I did the, I'm looking at the time too, it's 12:10. Okay. I did the course redesign. Thank you so much to the CTL, and Fractal, I believe, plays a role in that also. So I just wanted to, really, I'm just gonna show, my screen and show you a couple things that's cool about my remaster. So I did little things like I used AI to make new tile art for all of my classes. And I was able to, you know, make those look prettier. And that was exciting. And then, so I'll show you my online, I teach biopsych in person and biopsych online. I did the same remaster for both. It was sort of a multimodal remaster. So with that, I did a couple things. So I'm so sorry. That's my cat. She's a geriatric cat and she meows really loud because she's deaf. So you might hear her while I'm talking. So I did a kind of redesign of some of the canvas, but the main thing I did was with the textbook. So what I did was I got a textbook I got an OER textbook. So I have it in the syllabus. It's like the first thing they see. I made it really big so they know that it's free. I have it in modules so they know that it's available. And you can see all my screens changing, right? I don't have to change. Okay, fabulous. I have it in the modules so they can look, they don't even need to look directly at the, I hate when this happens. No, please move. There we go. So they can download the text and they can look at the text that way. So if they don't have internet access, they can download the text ahead of time and read the text that way. And then the main thing I did, I will show you. So I incorporated the textbook into the slides, the free textbook into the slides. So I basically, for the students, made the slides the only thing they need in order to get access to all the course content for class. So I always give an outline. And then what I did was for every part of the text that had a different section, I incorporated that into the slides. So for instance, what is biopsychology? Do we only use 10% of our brain? 2 minutes, thank you. Takes you directly to the first section of the textbook that talks about that. By the way, no, we don't only use 10% of our brain. I hope everyone knows that. With that, I started just, again, incorporating every bit of the textbook into the slides. So here's another example, 1.2, History of Biopsychology. Again, they can just click directly on that and it takes them to that section of the text. So I did that with all of the slides and all of the modules. And with that, that's the main, and then I added more assignments. What I did was with AI and everything, one thing I like to do is make assignments where students record themselves talking about something. So they had to record themselves and post a video. So that's another thing. I've incorporated more assignments where there's some sort of active learning, even in the online space where they record themselves or they show something along those lines. I'm just going to show one more thing just as an example. We can go down a little bit. Actually, I may be out of time, but it was very helpful to get the redesign to do this stuff. And it took a lot of work incorporating the textbook into every single slideshow that I already had, but it was super worth it. I have gotten very good feedback from students so far. And I will continue to do this and I will report more when I know more about how much they like it. The part that, you know, it's free is the best part. So that's all I have.
So much, Erica. All right. All right, Mr. Lyle, you ready?
We already exercised, by the way.
That was fast.
Problem?
I heard you guys talking now, it's spots, right?
You might guess from the title, Your Health Personified, this is not just about the Personify Health online portal for well-being that, is rolling out brand new right now. This is really much more about your health and well-being, whether you're engaged in that platform or not. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about the platform itself, but this is really applicable to think about in broader sense about your own personal well-being. Where did my little slide changer go?
Yeah.
Okay. Go. So whether you're engaging in Personify Health or not, is it worth 5 minutes out of your day to reflect on, are you doing everything you can to promote your own personal well-being? And not just about preventing heart disease 50 years from now. It's about promoting functional capacity. Definition of well-being is actually not being not sick. It's about being optimally functioning. So it's worth 5 minutes of your day to do that.
Yes.
Or is it really just all about the money for those of you who are on our medical plan and you're eligible to get the wellness incentive credits? And that's what and you know what? I'm not going to diss that as a motivation. Okay, it's one of the reasons the wellness incentive credits exist. Or is it really all about you and your well-being and the choices you make a few minutes a day, and or maybe some things that take longer? If you are engaged in Personify Health, or if you have not started yet, to get started is fairly straightforward. You create your profile, you do a health check survey, you set a well-being goal, you set your interests, you can even invite a couple of people else to join. But the point of this getting started process is to personalize Personify Health for you. It's, again, all about you. And as you get into it, your path can be as private as you want it to be. You don't have to connect with anybody else in there. Or there's a social media aspect to this. You can connect with friends, okay? If playing games and doing things like challenges keeps you motivated, you can do that. Or you can be driven by your own personal data that nobody else sees or knows, okay? There are learning journeys you can take that are either about learning and or about just motivating you to take those steps. I've done some journeys, and you know what? I already knew everything in there, but it kept me focused to do what I needed to do. Okay? You can be independent and pursue your own path. There's also health coach services available. You can get social. You can invite friends. You can invite friends or family that are not actually eligible for Personify Health. You can connect, you can get into groups of similar interests. And again, you might think about this in terms of your own personal well-being in a broader sense. If you want to automate things in Personify Health, get the app on your phone, connect the app to your wearable device or your app in your phone, and things are automated with stuff like exercise and steps. And I'm not going to go into detail with this, but you can earn up to $150 per 3 months towards your wellness incentive credit. It starts over every 3 months. And see me afterwards if this sounds confusing, because it's really straightforward, but like this, it sounds. And if you don't talk to me today, shoot me an email. I can help you with Personify Health, or we can just talk about how you are personifying your own health outside the platform. And yeah, I can't forward because it's the end of my slides.
Got a couple of hand claps, I think. Also, I don't know if you all saw, there was when we did the dancing, people were very impressed on
virtually, so.
Dance.
Sorry, it was just said.
It was your chance to show up.
Seriously. Whatever, that sounds great. Just kidding, don't call me her.
Everyone, I'm Grace Berger, I'm the Center for Workforce and Experiential Learning, and Eric's gonna be my hype man today, so. Thank you, it's his birthday, he can do whatever he wants to. We want to tell you about Work Ready Wednesdays. Work Ready Wednesdays first, who has heard of Work Ready Wednesdays? Yay, okay, you're doing a good job. We created Work Ready Wednesdays for a few reasons. We knew that we wanted to do workforce type programming on Wednesdays. We knew that based on employer data, students can gain additional skills in our soft skills, like communication and professionalism. And through the Center for Workforce and Experiential Learning, we directly place students with employers for internships. So we have a duty to ensure that our students are meeting the expectations of our employers, to ensure that we're making a solid pipeline connection. We also knew, based on the students that were coming through our office and through conversations we were having on campus, that students just weren't aware of all the possibilities that existed or the different industries that they could connect to. And so we came up with Work Ready Wednesdays, and we wanted to ensure that we were aligning it with evidence-based practices. And so we aligned it with the NACE Career Ready Workforce Competencies. Keep going. We also knew that we couldn't do it alone. Collaborations were key to this work. We partnered with the Career Transfer Center, Counseling Services, the STEM Center of Excellence, and also Heritage Month. We're also lucky that through our office, we're collaboratively working with Dr. Liz Cantu on the Blackstone Launchpad work across Maricopa Community Colleges. And so through that partnership, we were able to provide lunch to every single Work Ready Wednesday event that we had. Work Ready Wednesdays are every Wednesday throughout the semester from 11:30 to 1.
And more collaborations are welcome.
Yes. Go ahead to the next slide. These are a list of our fall topics. We covered a whole lot. What was neat about fall is it started with Eric and I leading a lot of the sessions. You know, we had envisioned this over summer. We were leading a lot of the sessions in fall, but what was so neat is that as we went into spring semester, give me a click. Eric and I haven't presented a single time this semester because we gained so much interest from industry and partners here on campus that we had a solid schedule, along with our partners with Counseling Services and the Career and Transfer Center. We have one session remaining of the semester. It's going to be next Wednesday. It's going to be Resume Refresh. We had wonderful opportunities to bring career panels to campus. We had Strong Wool come out for Black History Month, which was so exciting. We had Women's History Month around science communication. We had Dress for Success come out. We fully outfitted 51 students from head to toe in professional and academic. That's going to come back every semester. We already have them on the schedule October 15th and February something. They will be back. Go ahead to the next. We also have some preliminary data, because we still have one session remaining, so we do expect these numbers to change. A joke that Eric and I had is that while we were planning, Eric said, "What does success look?" And I was like, I'd be happy if 5 people came, because 5 students talking to us in this hour and a half is more students than walk through our door. That's a success to me. And he goes, no, we need at least 15 per session. So I'm happy to share that our lowest attended session was 5 people, but our highest was 51 with Dress for Success. We've reached 360 students, 59 staff and faculty for a total of 419 participants over 24 sessions. So we averaged 17, which is amazing. It's far beyond the 5 that I was hoping for. One more minute. Keep going. Participants agree or strongly agree that they would recommend the event to peers. Keep going. 97% of participants rated the event as good or very good. Keep going. Most importantly, the highlights are connections. A student shared that it helped her recognize new possibilities in computer science when she was questioning her career choice. We had 2 students who were first semester stay after, tell about their career goals. We connected them with the Microsoft Data Center Academy Scholarship. One actually was placed in an internship this semester and received the Works Internship Scholarship.
We have a student who has been job shadowing with a biomedical researcher at ASU since she attended a Work Ready Wednesday session and got that connection. And we had a student interested in a one-on-one career interview with a school psychologist. She was connected in real time with someone in the room who was a school psychologist. So that's just the impact of some of this programming. With that, thank you.
No.
Yay. Well, we got a couple shout outs on your, visuals and also a go there, Go, Grace and Eric.
Hello. Yeah.
Your slides great.
Oh, no, it's so, I appreciate it. Well, you want to come on, it's fine. I don't have my partner with me today, that's Graciela Flores, but I'm Katie Mendoza. We've met some of us already, so I'm glad to see that. And part of the Center for Workforce and Experiential Learning, small office, a lot of people. So I wanted to make sure that you knew what our mission was. Here's what we're setting as our goal and have been ever since I joined the team back in 2023. So I'm sure you all know Community Ed was here for a long time, but for a while it was kind of dormant. So we were hoping to bring it back and we've been working toward that. What we're going to focus on is ESOL. So what we are still doing and wanted to share are some of the changes that we've incorporated into our offerings of English for speakers of other language. These are traditionally held in the evening to accommodate those folks who work. And what we do is we bring in a food box in every class because we recognize that our adults are coming from work. They're hungry and our food bank is closed during those hours. So we try to help them out with that. We also have an orientation prior to day one. It's optional. Folks can come in and we introduce them to the computer, how to use Canvas, how to get to their email, because many of them don't have that technical skill. But we also, and this is a biggie, we celebrate completion of the course. This is not something we initiated, but it's so wonderful to see that the students join together and they have a little buffet of food and they share the food from their different countries and cultures. It's great. And the instructor just stands by and celebrates with the students. But what we changed over the past year since we've been offering this is that we visit with the levels that are completing levels 3 and 4. That's a higher grade within the ESOL offerings. And the reason is because we'd like to bring in advising and share with them. Your next step is credit. That's all there is to it. We push them towards that and understand we do partner with our testing center to make sure that the CALSA scores that they get align with the class that they sign up. So if they test at level 2, we hope they enroll in the level 2 class. Can we make them? No, but we can encourage them to do so. But once they hit levels 3 and 4 and they finish, our goal is to try to get them into credit. So we bring in advising and we just started that this past semester. We also are recommending that they capture pronunciation as a learning outcome because we recognize that a lot of our students are having trouble with the ending ED. So we're hoping that they will do that and allow the students to present during class to try to improve their language ability to say that ending. It's really tough. So why it matters. There's a good reason. The first 2 classes that are in blue, we've had 2 level 2 classes where the student has moved on to take level 3. That was pretty exciting for us because they could have stopped, but they wanted to learn more. That was pretty impressive. We're really happy with our students taking on this additional class load to make sure that their language gets to the level they're comfortable with. We also had one from level 1 take on a level 2 in spring of 2025. I think it's not just because of the content, but it's also the instructors because they're pretty great people. So I wanted to give a plug though to Kids College as well because we've been working on this over the past few, since November of last year. So last year we had 10 camps. You might have seen online, we've got 26 this year. Yeah. And as of the other day, that many spots have been filled. But the good thing is we're using the old supplies from previous Kids College camps so we don't let them go to waste. We'll be selling t-shirts. And this is not through the program or the third-party vendor. This is us selling t-shirts. So that way we can use the resources, our wonderful makerspace, to go ahead and apply the logo that we have here. You see it now. Yeah. And making sure that the kids get this idea to promote themselves and, look kind of snazzy on campus. We're also offering some new programs. Let me get there. Boom. There you go. Some of our faculty have been helping. The math piece I'm really excited about. So we're going to incorporate this idea of math and art. So cool. And then we hope to display that work not only in the last day ceremony that we're going to host over in the Plaza Gallery, but let's see, in the Estrella Hall, 2nd floor. Oh, 1 minute. Okay, all right. And the self-defense class for kids, we're going to partner that up with the initial offering is for kids to come and enjoy and get a little bit of training there. But then the second part of that class is for adults. and their child to come in and get a little bit of training. Almost done. There you go. So we're adding these programs for adults to attend. You see Fixed Bed is right up to the top. Yeah. Adding more. So there's going to be a few additional courses. So hopefully the parent or guardian will drop off their child and step into a camp while they're here. So just an update on what's happening with our team within UDN. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you all for coming today just to kind of hear about all the awesome projects, innovations, and just everything going on here at Estrella. And also thank you for folks joining online. My name is Yvette Rodriguez. I'm a student services analyst in the Workforce Development Office. Specifically, I'm housed over at the UMCC at Westmont campus, which is in Buckeye. How many of you guys have heard of that site or have actually been out there yourselves? Ooh, yeah, one of you guys. Okay, awesome. So I'm here today to talk to you guys about the Applied Technology Student Conference. It was actually a conference that I developed as a result of the Fractal Innovations and Learning Track. And so I'm just going to kind of talk to you guys about that today. So just a little bit of background, my role, I'm what's called a campus navigator for our semiconductor. Just a quick show of hands, how many of you guys have heard of the semiconductor here? Yay, also a really good call. So just a little bit of background, the program is a 10-day boot camp. It is 40 hours long. It trains students to become entry-level technicians within the semiconductor industry. And it is housed over at our Westmont campus out in Buckeye. The course does translate into one of our college level courses. It's AIT 132. And so students do earn 3 credit hours for completing. And so how my idea for the conference came to be is I participated in weekly meetings along with my first Paula Livingston when she was in the dean role, and now Becky Baranowski, starting back in October of 2022. And I would just collect just the different data that our partner TSMC would provide us as far as why students weren't getting the role. Because a lot of it came down to just various soft skills. And so my idea after just consistently seeing these different gaps and maybe areas that students needed a little bit more just like help on was to actually put together a conference where we could bring in subject matter experts to give students a little bit more training, experience support in these areas to, again, ultimately support them in their transition into the workforce. And so just a little bit of quick background. So the conference, it took place back in the fall of 24. It was here on our main campus at the Estrella Conference Center. I actually invited students from multiple campuses that also have the Applied Technology FOI, which is just the field of interest. And so we had students from Glendale College, from Gateway College, from Mesa, from Chandler Gilbert, who actually were invited and attended. So it was a really inclusive event. And some of the workshop presentation topics, critical thinking and innovation, networking, professionalism, we had a variety of industry professional guest speakers. We did some LinkedIn prep, interview prep, headshots. And just a couple of the areas that I highlighted there, critical thinking. So that was one that in working with TSMC, working with some of our other smaller partners, that consistently came up as being one of the top gaps or just areas that the students needed a little bit more like guidance in. And so that was just something I kind of point out because it was kind of interesting because for me, kind of coming into this role and hearing industry partners say the students are lacking or they need more help in critical thinking, that was just kind of interesting. So it was really great. We got to have faculty actually teach a workshop in that specific topic. And so this is just a slide that kind of shows some of the industry partners that participated. And then again, just kind of highlighting that this was a really collaborative effort with not only various departments within Estrella, also within Maricopa, and even external, moving over to our industry partners. So there's just a couple. That's just some student feedback, student testimonials. And then just really quickly, I just want to kind of share a couple points on, what I felt, could have been better. This is my first time developing and executing something, of a 2-day event. So definitely a lot of lessons learned. One of the big ones that I would say is that, I really in the future to do something is to coordinate with faculty to actually bring in the students, just to kind of support more student participation. look at offering possibly a hybrid event. And then just making sure I capture more pictures, just in the chaos of everything going around, really didn't get as many pictures as I would have wanted. And this is just a quick little inspirational thing, you know, again, this was my first time developing and doing something of this size. And so I just want to kind of inspire others. I'm sure as you go on through your role, you might see something you're wanting to try out. And, you know, I just want to kind of say, you know, hey, it's always worth it and see what it could do.
Everybody for having us. My name is Catherine Commoner. I'm the Life Science Department here at Estrella Mountain, and I would like to present some work that Rachel Smith, Jesse Phoebe, and myself did a couple of years ago, and that Jim really kindly punched in as well. So very appreciative of that. So myself and Rachel and Jesse teach intro biology classes, either Bio 181, which is intro for pages, or I teach Bio 156, which is introductory biology for allied health. And what we consistently find is that students in these classes come, many of them with no biology background at all. And if they do have any, it's something they took in 10th grade. It was some time ago. And what our task is to try and help them springboard from having almost no biology background to 200 level biology classes in which they will be applying for their professional program. So applying for nursing school, applying for dental hygiene. And so it's always a challenge for the students, as you can imagine, and it's a challenge for the instructors to get them ready. And so what we did is so in the course bank, there is an XT designation, which allows for 50 minutes of additional instruction time to the class. It's an additional credit hour. There is no additional cost for students. And so over the course of 3 semesters, we ran 156 XT and 181 XT sessions. We applied and got Learning and Innovation grant for curriculum. And so over the summer preceding, the 3 of us, Rachel, Jesse, and myself, curriculum, mainly focused on studies. So focused on time management, focused on blanking now, goal setting, exam preparation, diagramming, understanding diagrams, because there are many diagrams that students have to take information from, and various other things. And so, yeah, so that's what we did. Right, Rachel?
Now, this is a hard class. It's definitely a hard class. I'm glad I don't have to take it. So what we really want to figure out is, regardless of the 4 prerequisite options you're going to take, we wanted to know, is there a difference between them? Does it make a difference? So we took a look and we defined successes. Did you get an A, B, C, or P, or did you not? That way we can deal with if you dropped, etc. So it gave us an easy measure to work with to start off. And we pulled data for everybody who was successful in the prerequisites and took 201, regardless of what they did in 201. And then we did a t-test. And I'm not going to be a painful, terrible guy trying to get too statistical on you, but think of it this way. 2 different classes, got the average for this one and this one. We want to make it so that we were 95% sure in our gut that if the averages were different, they were different at a statistically significant level. So can we say that adding 50 minutes made a difference? Only 5% chance that we say it made a difference when it didn't. So we wanted to be able to avoid that. So it's using statistics to make some decisions that affect scheduling and a lot more. Find the mouse. That would help. Oh, there we go. So we did some basic Excel crunching. There were huge difference in means and statistical significance between 156 and 181, but that didn't tell us enough because those are 2 really different populations who take those 2 courses as prerequisites for 201. So instead, we wound up taking a look at 156 to the XT. Big differences in the mean. That's exciting. That indicates that it's good. But we did not have a lot of data points to know if it made a difference. So the learning, basically for all of these, is we need to offer an additional set of sections with the XT courses. But all of the evidence so far supports the gut instinct that it really does help. And as a result, we'll need to talk potentially to advising, to deans, and a lot of other folks to get them on board to try to get that on the dock. Thank you very much. The key thing is, this is an instance where scientists were using data. Go figure.
Hi, everyone. I'm Linda. So I have this assignment in my cultural and psychology class, Psych 132, called the Cultural Sketch. And I want to tell you a little bit about it and kind of what I've done with it this semester. So it's a new assignment, and what it does is it has 10 questions, and it asks students about different parts of their cultural identity. Verse 9, and the last question asks them, which one of these do you resonate with most? Which of these do you feel like most describes who you are? Okay, so I'm not going to make you, I just want to note really quickly that this is a very personal assignment. So I let them know that if there's anything they don't feel comfortable answering, or they would rather not disclose, they can just tell me and it's totally fine. I've never had this happen, but it is there for them as an option. I will not make you read this. I'm just going to quickly tell you what the 10 questions are about. So it asks them to talk about first their age and generational influence. Like, what cohort are you a part of? What generation are you? How has that generation influenced you? For example, some students talk about school shootings and how that's impacted them, right? Their developmental or other disability. Not only do they have a disability, but how is this, or do they have people in their lives with disabilities? How has that impacted who they are? The same with religion and spirituality. Are they religious? If they're not, how has that impacted them? Race and racial identity and ethnicity, kind of what that is, and also if it's different in their family. So if they have kind of mixed race families, how that's impacted them. Same with the socioeconomic status, what SES they grew up in, and what is their SES now, and how has that impacted them. Same with sexual orientation, if they identify as non-binary, or if they know someone who does, how does their family feel about other people who are non-binary? Indigenous heritage, national origin, gender. So kind of how do they identify as gender, and how does that impact their experience? And number 10, again, is when they look back over those 9, which are the most significant? What would they say really identifies the layers of who they are? So that's the assignment that my students have, right? So I just want to talk about what I've done with this assignment. So after the assignment, I have a post-assignment survey asking them how they felt about it. Like, what was it like for you? And I did some analysis of those results and came up with a couple of different themes. I found that my students of color talk about their ethnicity and race a lot. And they find that, and they share kind of qualitatively that they enjoy having a space to really talk about their heritage. Now, my white students are the ones that I really wanted to know what was happening with those students. And so they didn't talk about their race and ethnicity a lot, but they talked about the other aspects a ton. They wrote just as much. They talked about generational influences a lot. They talked about disability a lot. They talked about the socioeconomic status a lot. So they talked about these other components of race, and they wrote just as much as my students of color. All of my students reported appreciation for the opportunity to share part of their story. They all really, really liked it, regardless of their background. And I really wanted to drive home the point that culture is so much more than race. I have my white students tell me, I don't have any culture. And yes, you do. Yes, you do. And it really kind of highlights those other components, and culture includes everyone. Now, in our division, we have something called our Strategic Initiative Project, or our SIP. And in this project, we all kind of share something that we've done over the semester and have a discussion about it. So I shared this assignment, but I wanted to make it experiential for my division. So I had individuals in my division go around and everyone answer one of the 10 questions. And I was so surprised by the impact of that. First of all, there was lots of positive feedback. They really enjoyed the exercise. And a lot of them shared parts of their lives that they hadn't shared with us before. Now, I thought it created like a really meaningful bonding experience with people in my division, which is already amazing. Shout out to behavioral sciences. So I would love the opportunity to scale this project to a larger part of the campus, and also even among other faculty and staff, because it really does create community. Thank you. All right, so in conclusion, culture
has unfortunately become a derogatory word in recent spaces. And it's because it assumes the exclusion of race and ethnicity. But this assignment explores so many other components of culture that I found that all students resonate with. And the added bonding experience that occurs in our division was an unexpected bonus that can certainly be replicated in other parts of our college. That is it.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Jake Cunningham. The screen's on. Okay, everything, can everybody hear me online? I'll just start. Oh, no, I don't have slides.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up? Okay, awesome. Hi, I'm Jake Cunningham. I'm the president of the art club here at EMCC. I'd like to shout out Miguel Godoy. He's the club advisor and he has helped work with me on all the stuff I'm going to be talking about today. So we don't just sit in a room and draw together, though we do that, that's fun. We have tried to be as engaged as possible with the college and the surrounding community as well. So starting out, we set up a booth at Open House, brought a bunch of art and talked to either new students coming to the open house or people trying to decide if they want to come here, and talked about the art program, us as students experience, and then we had teachers there as well to talk about it. We've put up stuff on Clubs and Orgs Day, interacting with the broader community. We went to the Agua Fria Union High School District Art Showcase, put up a bunch of booths and talked with a bunch of high schoolers about possibly coming to EMCC if they were interested in the arts program. We teamed up with the Creative Writing Club and had an arts promotion day where we set up booths around campus and displayed artwork and talked with people about it. And currently we have an exhibition on campus in the Performing Arts Center called Creative Soup, featuring art from most members of the art club. And I think it's all fantastic. Of course, I'm biased, but it's great. If you ever have time, walk on down to the PAC, go see it. It's phenomenal. And on top of that, we're working with life sciences to do things. We're putting up another mural by the community art, and some of the members, myself included, are working with the Grand Canyon Wolf Recovery Project on a children's coloring book to educate children about the Mexican gray wolf here in Arizona. Additionally, we're also working on documenting art around campus, describing it and creating a virtual art walk. And on top of that, we've created stuff for the students like workshops on mat cutting, installing hardware, framing and hanging pieces, which we ended up doing for the exhibition. And we've taken them down to the makerspace as well. And a lot of the students have found a lot of that to be useful. We've had them create stickers there, using the large format printing to print pieces digitally that otherwise wouldn't end up being physical and would just sit on a hard drive. And I think that's about everything we've done. This is our first semester here, existing at the college. And I feel like we've done a lot. And if anybody wants to work with us, have any projects in mind, you can email me or Miguel Godoy, or both of us, and we'd be happy to work with you. Thank you.
So I'm not much one for slides. I mean, I'm Steven from the Makerspace. We're all about the hands-on and making. So that's my excuse for not preparing slides. Additionally, if you've ever talked with me before, you know that I am not good at short, sweet, and to the point, but I'm gonna attempt it today. So let's get going. With the Makerspace, we have been growing exponentially. I have loved it. I'll start with some of the stuff we've done with the community and work our way into students. So the community, we worked with the West Valley Regional Chamber when they rebranded. We made 6 glass-etched plaques for the cities of Surprise, El Mirage, Goodyear, Tolleson. What am I missing? 2 others that are very important, but Avondale. How did I miss Avondale? Avondale is one. And then we also, for the State of the City by our amazing mayor, who's also faculty here. For those of you who don't know Mike, go meet Mike. Let's give him a round of applause. He did the State of the City and we did 200 challenge coins to give out. All sorts of different things. I'm loving our community connections. We're doing even more for the kids this year. With Katie from Community Ed and Graciela, we're now offering, I believe it's 9 kids college classes this summer. And we're hoping to extend that into the semester. Maybe we'll even start moving into some adult classes, because one of the big questions that comes up is, well, do we have classes through the Makerspace? And right now, not so much. So we're going to be growing those, doing more. Now, bringing it to the campus, what have we done for the students? I am still collecting data. We have had over 2,000 students come through the door just this semester. We have put out over 4,000 pieces of stuff this semester, which is over 2,000 projects. We started with my first semester here working with 4 or 6 courses, then I moved up to 8. Last semester in the fall, we were up to 18. This semester, I'm already at 26 and I haven't even finished taking all of the data in. And that's 26 different courses sending their students through. Heck, most of you in here have sent students over and have classes coming in. So it's been amazing just the amount of projects, the clubs we've been able to work with. Art Club was in, as Jake mentioned. The Unboxed event was fantastic. We're always curious, what more can we do? What more can be done? Come, keep bringing us ideas. We love it. Keep touring through. As long as it's not metal, but someday we'll get into that. Besides that, keep being creative. Enjoy. We're always expanding what we're doing, and we'd love to see what you do. Always reach out with questions. I think I was pretty quick there, right? Sweet.
We are officially at 1 o'clock, so we will not keep you. I just want to say thank you so much for sharing all the amazing things that you do for our students, for our communities, for our employees, for just the fact that it all takes all of us, right, to make the magic happen. And so thank you. Wishing everyone a great end to the semester and looking forward to seeing you at the next big event. So take care.